The U.S. biotech firm Moderna said Wednesday it would enter the final stage of human trials for its COVID-19 vaccine on July 27th, after promising early results were published in an influential journal. The Phase 3 trial will recruit 30,000 participants in the U.S., with half to receive the vaccine at 100 microgram dose levels and the other half to receive a placebo. It's designed to show whether the vaccine is safe and can prevent infection by the SARS-CoV-2 virus, or if people still get infected, whether it can prevent the infection progressing toward symptoms. If they do get symptoms, the vaccine can still be considered a success if it stops severe cases of COVID-19. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Wednesday New Zealand must prepare for new coronavirus outbreak as the pandemic spreads globally, but will not drop its elimination strategy if community transmission was discovered. Premier Ardern said the epidemic was now exploding outside New Zealand, and countries that had been models in the fight against COVID-19 had now experienced further community outbreaks. The government released a new framework on how it intends to fight the virus in the event of new cases, with elimination still the central strategy. In a stunning reversal of policy, the Trump administration on Wednesday abandoned an attempt to force out tens of thousands of foreign students following widespread condemnation of the move and pressure from colleges and major businesses. U.S. officials announced last week that international students at schools that had moved to online-only classes due to the coronavirus pandemic would have to leave the country if they were unable to transfer to a college with in-person instruction. There are more than 1 million foreign students at U.S. colleges and universities, and many schools depend on revenue from foreign students who often pay full tuition. Heathrow Airport is introducing cleaning robots and other measures to try to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission at the UK aviation hub as the country eases travel restrictions. The robots use ultraviolet rays to kill viruses and bacteria at night, according to a statement from the airport, which didn't say how many of the machines were being deployed. The airport is also installing UV technology to disinfect escalator handrails, and self-cleaning antiviral wraps are being fitted to often touched surfaces such as security trays and elevator buttons. Heathrow said 100 workers are being retrained as hygiene technicians to monitor the effectiveness of the new technologies and answer passenger queries. British Health Minister Matt Hancock said that the government would not be recommending that people wear face masks in offices after speculation that rules for workplaces could follow shops. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Monday shoppers in England will have to wear face coverings in shops and supermarkets from July 24th to help reduce the risk of a new pickup in the spread of the coronavirus. Minister Hancock said that the government had looked at making wearing masks in offices but rejected the idea on the basis that if people spend a long time together, face coverings do not offer protection. The top doctor in the Swiss mountain region that includes St. Moritz and Davos told restaurants on Wednesday not to rely on plastic visors to protect their employees from COVID-19 infections, saying they create a false sense of security. The wearing from the Gresons canton bordering Italy and Austria raises questions about the reopening strategies of some restaurants, hotels, and other tourist-dependent businesses. In Germany, some states allow visors for service workers, while others require face masks. Swiss restaurants don't require all workers to wear protective facial coverings, though some have adopted them. New Zealand's main opposition party has named a new leader 2 months before a general election, following Tuesday's surprise resignation of the previous party leader, who had been in the role just over 50 days. The Conservative National Party elected four-time Member of Parliament Judith Collins to take on Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's Labour Party in a September election that is expected to be dominated by COVID-19 related issues. Recent opinion polls have predicted that Labour could govern on its own without a coalition, helped by the soaring popularity of Premier Ardern. Earth will be home to 8.8 billion people in 2100, 2 billion fewer than current UN projections, according to a major study published Wednesday that foresees new global power alignments shaped by declining fertility rates and growing populations. An international team of researchers reported by century's end 183 of 195 countries, barring an influx of immigrants, will have fallen below the replacement threshold needed to maintain population levels. More than 20 countries, including Japan, Spain, Italy, Thailand, Portugal, South Korea, and Poland, will see their numbers diminish by at least half. Rescuers are searching for 23 people still missing after heavy rains in Indonesia's South Sulawesi province swelled rivers and sent floodwaters and mud debris across roads and into thousands of homes. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency spokesman said at least 16 people died. The flooding began Monday evening and was triggered by heavy rains that caused 3 rivers to overflow. The flood affected more than 4,000 residents of 6 sub-districts in North Luwu. OPEC Plus is seeking extra production cuts from members that haven't missed their targets again in June, potentially tempering the impact of the supply resumption planned by the wider coalition next month. According to delegates, a technical committee that met online outlined plans for countries including Iraq, Nigeria, and Kazakhstan to make an additional 842,000 barrels a day of compensatory cuts in August and September. The proposal will be discussed Wednesday by a Ministerial Monitoring Committee led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Russia. Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan have failed to reach agreement at a new round of talks hosted by the African Union to regulate the flow of water from the giant Blue Nile hydropower dam built by Addis Ababa. The AU launched its mediation effort 2 weeks ago, involving 11 online sessions to end the deadlock over the filling and operation of the $4 billion Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile, which flows into the Nile River. The dam is the epicenter in Ethiopia's bid to become Africa's biggest power exporter, but has sparked concerns in Cairo that Egypt's already scarce supplies of Nile waters, on which its population of more than 100 million people is almost entirely dependent, would be further restricted. U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday shut the door on Phase 2 trade negotiations with China, saying he does not want to talk to Beijing about trade because of the coronavirus pandemic. For months, President Trump has blamed China for sending the coronavirus to the United States, saying that China must be held accountable for failing to contain the disease. China pledged to increase purchases of U.S. farm and manufactured goods, energy, and services by $200 billion over 2 years as part of the Phase 1 trade deal, but the U.S. leader has said the pandemic changed his views on the agreement. At the White House, President Trump announced that he signed legislation and executive order to hold China accountable for the oppressive national security law it imposed on Hong Kong.